this order.
Ho ho ho! Happy Thursday, everyone. Here is Greg Dixon from Share Visions Unlimited. I'm here with Santa Papa John. So maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit, Santa, and tell us what you do.
Ho, 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 ho. I'm Santa Papa John. And yes, I'm from the North Pole, of course. But like I tell the kids on TikTok, I spend time at my summer cottage in Minnesota. So, folks, I'm not the normal type of Santa. I do a lot of thinking outside the gift box. And what does that mean for you? It means I get to create videos for you to create happy, joyful, positive memories. We all enjoy sharing memories with families and friends. And yes, we understand that we have to share those unfortunate, sad videos every now and then. But, Santa comes into play. Let's create some happy, joyful, positive memories. I do Santa happy birthday videos. I do check-in videos. My newest one is, and I'm excited about it because people are generating a lot of interest over this. I am creating stories for your family to include your children or your grandchildren's names actually in the story. Yes, and of course, going back a little bit, is your business Santa approved? Well, folks, Santa would love to have you join his workshop and be a glorified elf. Santa's been around for 1753 years, and he's one of the most commercialized or advertised characters in the world. So, yes, he's showing, I do stories. I do in-person visits if you're in Minnesota, central Minneapolis area. And of course, personalized birthday videos, like I said before. And they don't have to be for children. I've sent them to 2-year-olds and 82-year-olds, folks. So use your imagination. I'll create a script from 6 questions that I've created to personalize those happy birthday videos for that individual person, regardless of their age or what they do for activities. And then, of course, check-in videos. Well, what's a Santa check-in video? Maybe the kids need a little bit of encouragement from good old Santa, because they're not quite listening to mom and dad. And I can do that. But it don't have to be just for kids. As I got my hand slapped here a couple months ago, the lady said, "Are you marketing these to seniors?" And I said, "Well, probably not as much as you're going to tell me." She said, "Well, her mother was housebound for the last 5 years of her life and loved the idea of Christmas and loved the idea of Santa. She would have loved to receive a video from Santa to cheer her up, because the older generation, they need happiness as much as anybody else. So if you know some lonely older people, or it's opened up the door, Greg, to advertising or promoting to nursing homes and senior care centers and Alzheimer's and dementia places. Yes, so it's opened the doors to a lot of different places that I hadn't even thought about it, because that's the power of networking right there, Greg. Now, thank you videos. I can make a special one for the realty people, for a buyer or a seller. What a cool way, because if you know any realtors, they're always looking for that little special gift to give to their clientele. Wouldn't it be cool to have a personalized video from Santa on your behalf? And that goes along with the thank you message service as well. A personalized thank you to your customers or clients from Santa on your behalf. And it can be for realtors, or it can be for any day business people. I had a lady text me the other day. She said, "You got a minute to talk?" And I said, "Absolutely." So she said, "I send out greeting cards every year at Christmas time." And I said, "That's cool, because people are appreciating getting stuff in the mail, because we don't get very much stuff in the mail anymore." But she says, "I want it to be a little bit different this year." And I said, "What are you thinking?" She says, "I want Santa to make me up a little video to thank all my customers and clients over the past year. And this is what my husband and I have been able to do because of my customers and clients. They're able to increase the quality of their business, the products that they're outputting. They even went to a trip to Jamaica for a week, all because of their customers and clients. And what an awesome way to say thank you by creating Santa creating a customized video on their behalf. So, Greg, I've come up with some very unique ideas to personalize services for businesses and people alike, which is opening up the doors to meeting all kinds of people all around this world. And, you know,
Yeah.
Australia, Canada, Denmark, UK, it doesn't matter who you are because this technology right here, Greg, as you well know, you're in just outside of Vancouver and I'm in Minnesota. We might as well be sitting at the kitchen table looking out the window and watching the snow fall
No,
because of
it's
the
great.
technology that we're allowed to use.
No, it's fabulous. It really does bring the world together. It's kind of like Santa's sleigh, right? You go visit everywhere in the world. Only this is a digital version that works all year round.
Absolutely, it sure does. And you know, with the goofy world that we're living in, Greg, there are a lot of people that don't even have a reason to smile.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of sad how the world is really turned upside down lately. But you know, Santa can get on screen, make people giggle and laugh, but more importantly, make them smile and
yeah,
give them a happy thought for the day or for the week or for the month. And it's amazing how far a little happiness that you share can go to affect someone else's life.
yeah. A smile and a ho 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 can go a long way.
Absolutely. You know, even, you know, like I tell, I do a daily video every day of about 2 minutes long to promote happiness. I'm not selling. I'm just saying, hey, you have a choice when you get out of bed in the morning. You put your feet down on the floor when you get out of bed. You can either be grumpy and miserable all day, or you can be happy and cheerful and positive. And I choose to be the latter because life is too short to be miserable and grumpy all the time. And then when you meet a veteran, you know, say thank you for your service. And that goes worldwide. That's just not a US thing. That can be Canadian wide or Australian or
Yeah,
UK wide. We all have veterans and we all appreciate what they've done for us. And that's why I'm in the midst of trying to create a nationwide list in the US of services to help our veterans. And it's called the Warriors Beacon of Hope. Yes, you are awesome. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. You know, I am not a veteran. My wife has some veterans in her on her side, and the reality of it is, Greg, those men and women did not hesitate to sign up on the dotted line to go and support and defend our country and Canada and Australia, whoever, you know, wherever in the world. I mean, you know, there's a lot of places that have, you know, military people. Well, when they come back home, sometimes they have to be put on the list because the doctors are too busy or this, that, and everything else. Well, I'm sorry. They didn't say, well, you know, I got to wait, you know, 6 months before I'm deployed because, you know, I'm not ready yet. So why should they have to wait 6, 8, 10 months to get the services they need when they come back?
yeah,
You know, and that's my thinking, you know, and it's just, you know, as I talk to these veteran people, they're all telling me the same thing that the VA doesn't quite understand the concept that they can't wait sometimes for the services that they
yeah.
need. You
Yeah,
know,
Bonnie's been tracking down services for her father, who's 94,
yeah, yep,
and he was in the served in the Korean War, and it took them over a year to find his service records.
yeah, yeah. I talked to a lady yesterday. Her husband come out of the military and he was okay, partially disabled, but it took him 15 years to get the fully classification of 100% disabled.
Yeah, yeah, no,
You know,
it's
why do they have to fight when they know, geez, you get a leg cut off or an arm
yeah,
cut off or
it's
lose some
self-evident.
you know, there's not a lot to explain there that they're disabled, but
Yeah,
we all know there's a lot more to being disabled
yeah,
other than physical attributes. You know, the mental abuse and the mental what's the
yeah,
word I want to, you know, the
depression.
things that they've seen and been
Yeah,
taught to do. a lot of people in regular society does not understand what they've been through.
Yeah, a lot of trauma.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So they need services, and that's what I'm on a mission to do. And one guy said, "Oh wait, there is a national list, but they charge $5,000 a year to be on this list."
Yeah.
And I'm going, "Holy tamales!" I
Yeah.
know most of the people that I've been talking to can barely afford to pay their cell phone bill. Never mind 5,000.
Yeah.
So if people are asking, I'm going to charge a whopping $10 a month to be on my list. And if they can't afford that, then we can have a discussion, and I can,
Sure.
donate one of my stories so they can cover the
Yeah.
cost of the $100.
So
Because
I
it's
think,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I think we can ask anybody out there who's, because you're building your list. You don't have anybody. So for any of the states, I'll put this up on the screen again here. And you're listing off all of the states, and eventually you want to have a list of services for every state.
Yeah, my goal is right now is to have 10, at least 10 services for every state.
Yeah. So I think if anybody hears this, they can reach out to Santa Papa John here and provide a list, because you don't have everything yet, right? I'm assuming.
No, no, no. And as I talk to more people, they're getting pretty excited. I have started a Facebook group under the same name.
Yeah.
So, I'm starting to get some followers on that, which means they're starting to share some information, but we got a long ways to go yet, Greg.
Long ways to go. Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's Canada has, I think probably all countries have not really helped their veterans as much as they could. But
And my understanding is the legions in Canada are crossing some lines that are unfortunately separating themselves from the veteran society, which is a really sad state because that's what the legions were started with. Now I don't know the whole story,
yeah.
but I'm hearing bits and pieces of it, and that's why I say there is some separation there, but I don't know, and I don't want to say who's at fault and who's not at fault because I don't know the whole story. But the reality is, our veterans need help,
Yeah.
and I want to. I'm stepping up to the plate because nobody else would. And it was kind
Yeah.
of funny when people started throwing this idea at me. And of course, I talked to my wife about it, and I said, "Why are people throwing this idea at me? What does Santa have to do with creating a list of?" Okay, uh,
That's
we
Mrs. Claus.
that was Mrs. Claus giving me orders that I got to put water in the bird bath, because
Okay.
the birds and the critters like to eat or drink the water. Of course, she loves feeding the critters out back, and we got squirrels, and we got rabbits, and we got groundhogs, and we got deer, and
Yeah.
we got I don't know what kind of squirrels you got out there, Greg, but we got four different types of squirrels that are in the backyard, and it's kind of cool. We've got the big black ones, we've got the big gray ones, we've got the brown ones, and then of course we've got the chipmunks. So we've got
Yeah.
all four families of the squirrels all
Yeah.
in the backyard at the same time.
Yeah.
And to sit and watch them, it's funnier than heck to watch how they fight, and then they share, and then they help one another, and it's called relationships that we as humans could watch. But
Yeah.
and more importantly, it's very relaxing and enjoyable to watch how these critters can chase each other, watch each other, help each other. And I think there's a couple lessons there that we as humans could probably learn from them.
So we had a hummingbird feeder hanging off of the deck in North Vancouver, and the squirrel came and it jumped out to get onto the feeder, and it lost its footing, so it was hanging on and spinning around and then spinning back and then jumped off.
Unbelievable. Yes, it's kind of crazy how the squirrel will go that extra length to try and get
Yeah.
at those feeders.
And here at Merritt, it's drier, and we have more chipmunks than squirrels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And marmots.
And marmots.
Yes.
There you go.
It's kind of like a big hamster. I don't know how to. It's sort of like a prairie dog in a way.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Right. Yep.
yeah. They're bigger and they like hanging out in the sun,
Yeah.
which we don't
Yeah.
have much of today.
No, no, it's supposed to actually, we haven't had any measurable rain in almost 2 months
Okay.
in Minnesota, which is very rare. But I mean, the farmers are loving it, so they're saying it's going
Yeah.
to possibly rain here this afternoon. But
I
yeah,
think
Mother
most
Nature
places
is,
most places could use rain, except we just had torrential downpours in Vancouver with flooding.
oh, yeah, we, September for Minnesota was the second hottest and the driest since they
Okay.
started keeping records for 150 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy. We say Mother Nature has gone off her meds. And that's what happened last winter. Like normally I have about 3.5 feet of snow in my front yard. Last year, I think I shoveled my driveway 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely changing a lot here. Where we're at in this merit is we're in a little depression,
Yeah.
and the weather patterns go across. They go over top, and then they hit the Coquihalla Highway and the highways and the passes there. And there's a National Geographic series called Highway Through Hell. So
Yeah. Watch it all the time.
so we're 10 miles away from that total chaos, but it goes over top of us most of the time.
Wow. Yeah. And I have driven the highway twice, a couple times.
Yeah.
And when if you ever watch that show, they say it is an engineering marvel. And I totally agree with that because the terrain that they had to create these highways on
Yeah.
was absolutely mind-boggling. But yet this highway is such an incredible, important piece of infrastructure to get you over the mountains safely.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, I recently spent a lot of time driving in various parts of British Columbia, and I've gone across Canada a few times. Our national highway is mostly a 2-lane highway, one lane in each direction for thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. And, the Coquihalla is one of the few divided roads.
Yep. Northwestern Ontario, there's a stretch going from the Manitoba border almost all the way to Thunder Bay. And they classify that section as one of the most dangerous parts of the highway in the whole country because it is mostly 2-lane. And you have a choice when you decide to go off the road. Not like when you're in the prairies, when you go off the road, you go into a wheat field, you turn the steering wheel, you go back up on the road. Well, in Northwestern Ontario, it's part of the Canadian Shield.
Yeah.
So you have a choice when you drive off the road. You're either going to run into a rock cut, which is where they blast a section of rock out to make the highway. So there is a straight wall. So when you run into it, you're going to come to a quick stop.
Quick stop. Yeah,
or the other alternative is a lake. So you don't have a winning choice either side. So like my dad said, if you want to learn how to drive, you have a choice. You either learn how to drive efficiently and properly, or you're going to be doing a lot of walking. My dad said another powerful statement that I love to tell everybody: you have to respect ice when you're driving, because if you don't, it's going to kick your butt every time.
I rented a car. The first 3 times I rented a car in Ontario, I came across freezing rain. And we got some bad weather in British Columbia, but I'd never seen anything quite like that. Like I was driving along and it didn't seem like the road was that slippery, and I stopped off at one of these road stop places and I closed the door, and the weight of the door caused the whole car to slide a foot sideways into the into the curb. It says, "Holy smokes!" And I had to curl myself to get into Wendy's or wherever it was. Like I couldn't walk on the sidewalk. It was just like a sheet of ice. It's just, if you don't, and we get that. There's a couple of places in British Columbia that are prone to that, and I remember driving years ago and says, well, it seems a little slippery. So I just tried turning the steering wheel. When your car doesn't change directions, when you turn the steering wheel, it's pretty slippery.
Well, I can add to that story. I'm a truck driver by trade. I've done 3 million miles, 5 million K in a big truck, and I've seen a lot of different things in weather. And they always talked about the proverbial whiteout going into North Dakota. I'm going, it can't be that bad. I've driven in Northwest Ontario in a snowstorm, and it can get pretty ugly in Northwest Ontario. Well, the first time I experienced a whiteout, Greg, it was like, where did everything go when you can't see the end of the hood? And I mean the hood, 4 feet
Yeah,
away from me.
yeah,
When you can't see that, you're in trouble. So
yeah.
luckily for me, I was able, a couple times that I ran into a situation like that, I was able to look out my driver's window and see the white line,
Yeah,
which means I was on the left side of the road on the 4 lane highway. But that was how I could see, because I couldn't see anything in front
yeah.
of me.
I
You know,
drove from Toronto to Ottawa one time in one of these ice storm things, and it was just like the visibility was really poor, and I could just see it. There was a truck ahead of me, and I just tried to keep see the tail lights, right, and hope I'd end up going somewhere I didn't really want to go.
right? Because you follow the leader is exactly how it works in a situation like
Yeah,
that.
but
So
that's the one road here where that the highway through hell, a lot of the accidents are like that. It's icy,
yeah.
and the visibility is really poor. It gets this sort of ice fog stuff. It's
Well, you're going up the elevation, and we all know what happens when you climb up the elevation. That water turns into white stuff,
yeah,
and that white stuff turns into, interesting things on the roadway. And yeah, it's an interesting part of the country for sure. You
yeah.
know, so I mean, I'm going into year number 7. We'll change the subject back here.
Back here.
Going into year number 7, Greg, and when I started off, you know, I had for 14 years now, give or take, and can't disguise it, so I might as well utilize it.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
going in into year number 7, and I started out like a lot of other Santas do. They do the home visits, and they
Yeah.
do the daycares and the businesses. That's the traditional way of
Sure.
Santas that
Yeah.
are thinking. So, being a truck driver, I got laid off, went through the downturn, as we might say. Um, so the reality of that is, I said to my wife, I says, I bought all new computers, lights and monitors and green screen. I said, I set myself up to some forward thinking on how can I take this Santa idea and make it different.
Yeah.
Well, I started networking, and I've learned a lot of things, but I started doing, just, hey, let's do the happy birthday videos and then Santa checking. But the power of networking, Greg, is incredible.
Yeah.
And for the people that are doing networking, you have to grasp the reality that what is in front of you. You can meet some incredible people, and those incredible meetings turned into friendships
Right.
that I've developed some friendships all over the world. And it's very interesting because I get the question all the time, especially when I was doing marketing back in April, May, and June. Why is Santa networking? What's he doing? I'm planting seeds for you to think of all the things that I can do to help make your
Yeah.
Christmas season even better. But in the meantime, I created relationships, I created friendships, and that in turn is now, my network is huge. In the fact now that I have people like yourself that are going to, refer your friends to me and say, hey, I met this pretty cool Santa. He's got some different ideas, but more importantly, he can do some stuff for your family to create that happy, joyful, positive memory. And that's, we need more of that in this world.
Yeah. We absolutely do. Yeah.
You know,
Positive thinking and some just even a smile and a joke or whatever can make a big difference.
but even taking that a step further, we need to create the relationship to be friendly with other people. There's so much, oh, I really don't want to say this word, but there's so much hatred in the world right now for, different people and
Yeah.
different ideas. And just because someone has a different idea than you, that doesn't mean you don't have to like them or don't have to associate with them. You
Yeah.
know, they're if you have a chat with someone, a conversation, you're going to find something that you're equal on, that you share certain ideas with people,
For
because
sure.
you're business people, especially business to business.
Yeah.
They might not be in a business that you like or that you understand, but have a conversation with those people, because you never know what someone is going to say on the backside of a conversation.
No, you never know. And with we help people publish books, and we never know who's going to come in, because we published books on somebody killing ghosts with a guitar, and all the cookbooks, Italian stuff, anything the human imagination can come up with could walk in your door, right? So
Well, and there's the old proverbial, Greg, you don't judge a book by the cover until you turn some pages.
yeah, for
Too
sure.
many people have preconceived notions of, just because someone looks a certain way or they talk about certain things a certain way, doesn't mean they're not a good human being in the backside.
Yeah,
You know, so people, that's what I say. One of the words of advice that I give people when I'm meeting new people: don't ever be scared to have a conversation with
yeah,
someone.
yeah,
You might end up meeting someone that you totally unexpected. And when you have a preconceived notion or a vision of what that person is, you've already ruled them out before you've given a chance to turn the
yeah.
cover.
And sometimes it's worth listening and understanding how they see the world, what their experience is, and the lens that they interpret the world in, and because we're all we all do that. We impose our idea of what the world is, kind of, and sometimes we have a hard time just actually seeing things for what they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So go think positive, happy thoughts, especially when you're going into your next meeting of the old proverb, you gain a lot more positive reaction with some honey than you do with a stick of dynamite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. How many clients do you have? None. I blew them up with dynamite. So,
All right, well, I think we'll cut this conversation real short. What a way to end a conversation with that kind of an attitude.
Anyway, so yeah, so don't be that guy. Go out and spread cheer and joy, and all year round, the spirit of Santa and Christmas and joyful, and bring that curiosity and joy into all of your interactions with others, and you do good work in the world, Santa, with your messages and and helping the veterans and all of that.
Well, I appreciate hearing that, Greg, because it's not like I want to be the Pied Piper of happiness. I just want to meet people and share some happiness, share some good thoughts, and create a positive atmosphere. And if we all go forward with that kind of thinking, we're going to get a lot further in the world.
Yeah, the world will be a better place. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Didn't John Lennon say that?
Yeah, yeah. Imagine.
Imagine, that's right. And
Yeah,
there's the key word. If we all imagine the world as a better place,
yeah,
what do you as the individual have to do to make it a better place? What's that one step that you do every day to make it a better place? Because if we all take one step every day, everybody working together as a team, the world will become a better place.
yeah. And I think one of the steps is just to appreciate what you have. We all we have things to complain about, but we all live in a kind of paradise. There's natural beauty. There are friends, family, and things to be grateful for. We tend to dwell on the things that aren't so great, but if we just appreciate the things that are, more of it will come to us. And as Santa said, you can help spread joy to others. So
Absolutely. Don't close the book on someone without even turning the page first.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Greg. This has been a wonderful conversation. I hope some of your clientele out there actually watched it and maybe they
Yeah,
got a giggle and a laugh out of us laughing at each
yeah.
other and
Well,
sharing some great conversation.
I know quite a few realtors. Maybe they'll take you up on your realtor thank you box.
You know, it's called putting a personalized service back into the word service.
Yeah,
Everybody's going computerized. Everybody's going AI. Everybody's going, well, if I push the button, it'll do it for me. You know,
yeah, yeah. And you're going to talk to Bonnie soon, and she's big on sending personal notes and physical cards.
yeah,
Yeah,
so if you step back and think about it, there are, it's like I said earlier on, receiving something in the mail nowadays because even all your bills are automated. So, you don't get very much mail unless it's advertising or junk mail anymore. But to get something that you can get excited about, a physical card with a happy smile, a greeting,
yeah.
that can bring a lot of happiness to some people's lives.
That's great.
You
Okay.
know?
Well,
Well, thank you.
thank you for joining us today.
For your time, and this has been a wonderful conversation. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and everybody out there in Greg's world, I hope you have a wonderful day. And Santa thinks you're pretty awesome.
Santa thinks you're pretty awesome. 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 Okay. So see you next time.